Hello, everybody. Welcome to Most Wanted Topics. I'm your host, Kevin the Tank. Along with me, Atomic Tommy per use. How you doing, Atomic Tommy?
Recovering from the draft weekend.
Recovering from the draft weekend.
It's a big weekend.
Sanders finally got drafted by the Cleveland Browns. That it became more drama than everybody expected. It actually made the draft interesting. And a lot of fun to watch to see how low he could go. I was actually pretty excited to watch it. It was a great weekend. Now we are a comic book store. We're going to talk about comics, but in Minnesota,
there's not a lot of weekends like this.
Winter's finally over. We're finally having consistent 60-degree weather, and sports is going on full throttle. We have 2 teams in the playoff, and our Minnesota Twins are finally turning around and finally on a winning streak.
It's been a good weekend for Minnesota sports, and you don't get to say that very often.
Yeah,
the Wild are still in it. The Wolves are definitely still in it. The Twins are turning around, and the Vikings had a pretty decent draft, session. So
yeah, and you know what? Well, what can you say? Yesterday, the Wolves pulled out a nice victory, so 2 in a row at home, and now they got to go back though and see if they can finish it off.
Yeah,
so
definitely possible.
Definitely possible. So go Wolves on that. This is a big week. This is for all comic stores across the country. It is Free Comic Book Day week. Yes. Saturday, May 3rd is Free Comic Book Day, and boy, everybody's preparing for it. And just to give you a heads up, if you're looking for a place to go, Most Wanted Comics should be on your list of stops to come because we have artist Frank Fosco coming for Free Comic Book Day. Mm-hmm. He'll be there doing autographs and doing sketches and selling prints and all sorts of fun stuff. So if you want to come out and grab some free comics and get a sketch and buy a print, Frank Fosco will be at the store all day long. We're having fun on Free Comic Book Day.
We are.
Saturday, May 3rd, and let's talk about some of the free comics coming out. We have Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, Ultimate Universe, Thundercats, and Powerpuff Girls. Boy, two epic cartoons there.
That's right.
Thundercats tracking all the way back to the 80s. Modern stories coming out.
Beyond that, we do have an Energon Universe special coming out.
That's also
going to be pretty
Transformers
popular.
Has been just unbelievable.
It's been unbelievable, and they're really
Void
playing
Rivals.
in, and they're really getting better. And it's really interesting to see how all of these titles are connecting. So definitely pick that one up too. Also, Star Wars #1, relaunching Star Wars.
Should be another banger.
Hopefully it'll be interesting, right? Mark Spears' Monsters is getting a Free Comic Book Day release.
Mark Spears, very popular
has
artist.
Absolutely blown up over the last couple of months. The Mark Spears Monsters book's crazy. We got Mega Man, we got EC, we got a ton of good kids comics too. So if you have kids, they will have plenty of selection for Free Comic Book Day. It's not all just for adults.
So that's our hype. Saturday, May 3rd, Free Comic Book Day. And I tell you what, Frank Fosco, again, if you want to reach out to him ahead of time, you can go to his website and email him and have him do a commission for you. He'll bring it to the store so you can pick it up at the store. So there's his email address. Make sure you write him and say, hey, I want this commission. And then he'll hopefully have it done and bring it to you at the store so you can pick it up. So it'll be fantastic. So make sure if you're traveling for the weekend to come out, make Most Wanted Comics one of your pit stops. Hey, let's talk about another thing. After May 3rd, of course, Saturday, May 10th, we have Wrestling Hall of Famer and legend Hacksaw Jim Duggan at Most Wanted Comics.
Yes, we do.
I cannot wait for this. This is going to be epic.
This is a big one.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you come out. We're going to be, just to let you know, we're cutting the line off at 2 p.m. sharp. So you have to be in line before 2 to get the autograph. Because we are cutting it off at 2 because he does have a flight out Saturday night. So we have to make sure he gets to the airport in time for that. So from 10 to 2, he'll be signing autographs at Most Wanted Comics, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get there early, get in line, have some fun, meet a legend, get a 2x4 signed or an 8x10 signed or whatever you have. You can see all the pricing and everything on our website at mostwantedcomics.com and also our Facebook, Most Wanted Comics MN. Make sure you check out all the details for Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Saturday, May 10th. Wow, we got a lot going on in May.
We do. It's the month of mayhem.
The month of mayhem.
Most Wanted mayhem.
And let's talk about another housekeeping item. May 24th, Xander Cannon.
Yep.
Xander Cannon, man, he is a veteran. Boy, he's been around for a while, and he's a great artist and writer. And he's got a new horror book coming out for Image Comics. And we're looking forward to having him at the store to sign that new comic. So he comes out May 24th. He'll be there all day from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. signing autographs, doing sketches, doing commissions. Go ahead and come and meet Xander Cannon. Right. And then on the 25th, the day after that, another wrestling legend, Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, will be returning to Most Wanted Comics. So make sure you check that out too. So your calendar for May at Most Wanted Comics is full, and we're going to have a couple other surprise announcements coming next week. But let's get into a couple things now that we did housekeeping. We have some movies to talk about.
We do.
We have a big one coming out on Friday, the Thunderbolts.
That's right. Has always been my sleeper. I'm really excited for this movie.
I think it's going to be a good movie.
I do. The Thunderbolts has been in development at Marvel a long time. I mean, it was announced almost 3 years ago now. It was supposed to come out last year, got delayed and all that kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of these projects, Fantastic Four included, it's kind of weird and almost surreal to actually see them release, given how much just drama and pushback and all the strikes and everything that was just really delaying and slowing them down. So to finally see it release is really cool. And what's even cooler is to see it actually have a lot of excitement and some good early reviews coming in for the movie. I mean, I
think the ending trailer is supposed to be epic too, isn't it?
I will have to wait and see, but it's nice to see some public hype, around a Marvel movie before it comes out. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine, there was a lot of excitement, but that excitement really took off after the movie came out. I mean, this is the first time in a long time where I've seen people actually kind of like, you know what, I'm not just excited for this movie because of, a cameo or a returning actor, like the case of Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. No, they're excited for this movie because it genuinely looks interesting.
Well, plus Thunderbolts it's not as common of a title, I guess you could say. I mean, it's a different group. I mean, right. I think people, if you've read comics, you know who the Thunderbolts are, but I think for the casual Marvel viewer, they're curious because they don't know who the Thunderbolts are or were. So I think there's some mystique that it's also driving the popularity. And I also think, I mean, in the comics, they were a cool superhero group.
They were.
But they were outcasts, kind of.
Outcasts, anti-heroes. Definitely. They've always kind of teetered the line between sort of villain and hero, and they've played both roles. But what I really think makes this work in a way that Eternals didn't work is that these are characters people already know. I mean, everybody watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier when it came out, right? I mean, at the time, it was one of the first Disney Plus shows, so people remember John Walker. A lot of people watch, they remember Black Widow, they watched Hawkeye, they remember, Yelena. Obviously, everybody knows Bucky, and some of the side characters that people might not know, like Ghost or Taskmaster, have an opportunity to really be included here in a cool way, right? And that's why I think they play so hard into Yelena and Bucky and the characters that you do recognize, because nobody would watch it if they were advertising Ghost or Taskmaster, right? And obviously the introduction of the Sentry I think is really cool. I'm a big fan of the Sentry, or as he is being identified in the trailer, Bob, right? But that is the Sentry. And it's a really cool character. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt that. The Sentry, just to get a little lore intense real quick, is one of the most powerful Marvel characters in the lineup. He is easily, here's my one concern, right? If the Sentry is supposed to be kind of the villain, or the Thunderbolts end up having to fight the Sentry, there is no logical or acceptable reason why they would win. The Sentry would instantly wipe the floor with all of them. So I really hope that they don't do that, and that they don't try to make him the villain, or they make him have to fight. Because I really don't, I really don't want him to get nerfed like that. I really want the Sentry to be really cool and really be faithful. because it's one of those characters that is unknown, right? Nobody really knows who the Sentry is unless you've read comics, and he has a real opportunity to really grow into another level of popularity, which I think would be really cool. So I really hope they do justice for that character.
We'll have to really get into that after the wrap up, because that'll be an interesting take to see how fans react when we review the movie.
Yeah.
So the next time after we've seen the movie, we'll have to do a big take on Sentry and what you thought.
And I really hope that all of the characters, walk away with some level of development and fulfillment. I think that's the one thing that a lot of these team movies lack. And again, harking back to Eternals, is just none of those characters felt like they were ever really developed or you really cared about them by the end of the movie. And again, what this movie has going for it is that people already know these characters, so it's already a step above Eternals. But no, the trailers look great, the action looks great. I'm excited for this movie. I've said it since last year. Everybody's excited for, at the time, Cap 4 or
I think
Fantastic Four, but I was always like, hey, don't sleep on Thunderbolts.
Well, I think people are hungry again for a good. I think Captain America didn't quite do it for everybody.
Yeah.
But people are hungry for a good. They want that Avengers experience again.
Yeah.
Because Marvel had it made people hungry for the next chapter.
Right.
Well, here's a new chapter, fresh content with characters that they know a little bit about, but they aren't at the forefront. And I think it's a good storyline to build on. If they do it right, it could be a nice segue to all sorts of upcoming things. And I think it's gonna be good. I really do. I think I'm relying on them. I've got a lot of hope for this movie.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
And it's nice in Marvel these days to see a plot line be followed through. Right? I mean, they've been building since Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Black Widow and stuff like that. So they've been building this storyline up for a number of years at this point. And in modern Marvel, it's not as common as it once was to see these plot lines that they introduce be followed through. So it's cool to actually get some kind of resolution to that, which I think is a nice turnaround, change of pace signal for maybe the fact that Marvel might be turning it around a little bit and might be trying to regain some measure of continuity, consistency, and quality that they once had, which honestly, they struggle with it to this day. I don't want to get into it. I didn't like Daredevil Born Again. I don't want to be negative.
No, we're not. We're moving on.
We're not going to be
that.
negative.
But anyway, Thunderbolts, check it out. Let us know what you think. After you watch the movie, make sure you comment if we had a good take or not in the beginning, and then we will review it, and then you can agree with us there too the next week. Well, one quick note: last weekend was Star Wars Celebration, and Andor came out.
Yes,
and I have to say I have to be a little down just because a lot of people loved Andor because that first series was awesome, and I think it was almost unanimous agreement how cool that show was.
Yeah, I mean there
was some nation, but the first show overall, people liked it.
Yeah, it was different.
It was different. It was a cool take on Star Wars, and everyone was looking forward to Chapter 2 here.
Yeah.
So far, the first two episodes have been a dud. The third one is kind of like, all right, maybe we're building into something. But boy, were those first 2 episodes a sleeper.
Here's where I'm gonna slightly disagree with you, because Andor has always been a more narrative show, okay? It's been slower. Now, one could argue too slow, right? The weakest part of this second season so far was, spoilers if you haven't seen it, this is your warning. The weakest part was absolutely that Cassian subplot where he was with the rebels. That was a complete snooze fest.
It was a miss.
Didn't lead. It was a miss, okay? But everything with Mon Mothma, everything with the Empire, I thought was really cool. And again, does what Andor does best, and that's add a lot of depth to these characters, not just on like a surface level, like backstory perspective, but on a motivational perspective, from an angle of, now you can understand where they're coming from and why they have the thoughts and opinions and motivations that they do. And that scene in episode 3, very end, where Mon Mothma just breaks down and starts just jamming out and everything.
Yeah,
is so well done.
In the zone.
So well done because it's reflective and really just an explosion of all of the internal thoughts and stress that she's under, having to see her daughter get married into probably a not so good relationship, agreeing to the potential silencing of one of her oldest, closest friends, and having to know now that she has to probably abandon a lot of what she's known in her home for what she knows is right, which is the rebellion. It's such a well done show, and the first season was amazing. The second season, while I don't think is as good so far, it was definitely a weaker start.
I think it's going to pick up. I really do, because the third episode kind of alludes to that. Like I said, the first 2 episodes for me were an absolute miss in a snooze fest. But I will give you your take for the in-depth of the writing on it. But for ADD Kevbo over here, ain't happening. Well, and I need action.
That is a very fair and understandable point. Because a lot of people don't watch Star Wars for that. Right now, you could say, oh, well, they should, or we can have, the what should they, should not, what, blah, 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 whatever, doesn't matter. The point is, people don't always want to see that in Star Wars. Star Wars didn't start out as this big narrative, in-depth story that's...
Nope, they brought you right into the middle of the fight. You were right in the war.
Has the writing, it doesn't have, it doesn't always have the writing quality of some grade A show, right? But and people go for the action. They want the lightsabers. They want the action. That's what drew their imagination and wonder at a young age, and that's what keeps them fans now. I think Star Wars is big enough where you could have all kinds of stories with all kinds of quality.
And I really think I think Rogue One was the primer to all the side stories and the depth.
Yeah.
And the in-depth. And I think Andor has that capability of being like Rogue One.
Yeah,
because so far it's been the best of the shows. So
yeah,
Andor has been good. So I'm really looking forward to episode 4 this week coming. We'll have to do a recap on that too. So we got a lot to recap next week. But anyway, you know what it's time for?
Shoutouts.
Shoutouts! We got to get some shoutouts here, people. So hey, if you like what you see before we get the shoutouts, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and also give us your feedback. And here we go with some shoutouts. Matt and JD, thank you for always being there. We want to give you a shout out. Dan, amazing Spider-Man fan, want to give you a shout out, as well as Jamie.
That's right.
And then Jimmy the Souza. Hey, welcome back, bud. Caleb, we want to give you a special shout out. David, aka Superman fan. We got you covered out there, buddy. Mark, and hi, Mark, Aquaman fan. Love you, buddy. Tax season is over for you. Look forward to seeing you again when you come out of hiding. Brian, and Brian. 4 Brians as well as 5 Dans have now added 5 Dans. So all 5 Dans. Here you go. Shout out to you guys.
They have to fight for the top spot.
Jeff, Ryan, Jim, Liz, Sheila, Shanice, the Gossovich family, Pat, hey, Dwyer family. There you go. Shanice, I said Shanice, Rick and Melissa. Rick, your recovery is going great. Hopefully, I look forward to seeing you when you're fully recovered. So special shout out to you. Look forward to seeing you guys on Free Comic Book Day, hopefully. Otherwise, yeah, what a great time. It is summertime in Minnesota. It's almost vacation time. Yeah, we'll have some big announcements next week, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully we can release more details about that. So otherwise, we'll see you on Free Comic Book Day, and have a great week, everybody.